Hello everybody, and today I'm going to be designing some concepts for some of the land that my brother has. He's got 5 acres, and we were supposed to be doing homestead stuff, but he had what we now realize is he's got mental health issues that are beyond what I thought that he was upset because he broke up with his girlfriend, but turns out after all these years it's still there, and we could be dealing with that, but it could be actually just military caused mental health issues. So we've been trying to help him out. We got into a debate, an argument. He keeps going back and forth with all this stuff, but we decided that he said that in the next 2 years, if nothing changes for him, he's just going to cut the power off to his house and the water off to his land and just hermit himself until the end, is what he implied. So when we started doing the property, it was all fun, but he always had these stipulations, and one of them was like he wanted it to be mostly nature based, and there's a bunch of dead or dying and sickly oaks. He didn't want any of that stuff cut down. But the thing is, if you are ready to just throw in the towel and hermit yourself away, then um, I think he needs to give us a chance to do what we want to do to help him get this land profitable as he wants it. And if you're going to throw in the towel anyway, why not give us a chance? And I'm not trying to like take over his land or anything, but he's had like, these years to do what he wanted to do on it, and it just this has turned to mess. He's got this dog now, and it's digging holes and tearing up the front of the fact is getting into a disaster. And my mom is kind of struggling on her own to take care of all the chickens and everything. Um, and so at this point, I had to put my foot down, and I'm going to tell him you can either rot away as a hermit like you said you want to, or you can give us a chance to make this place look nice and do something with it, because that's what literally what his things were. The two things he said was, and so I'm going to try to. I don't do any landscaping or anything, but I'm going to try to design this area. And right in the front of his house, he's got this corner, and he grows wild blackberries on it. And there's two kinds of blackberries out there, but there are actually three kinds because there's a different one that's growing um, down the street from his neighbor's house, and the neighbor said we could pick some. So we're going to try to get this area with three types of blackberries, because right now all it is just overgrown with oak trees with these weird spindly paths, and these blackberries are trying to grow. They do grow. We got a lot of them, but yeah. But what I want to do is design something to kind of convince him what we can make it look like. Now, I'm not getting the exact dimensions here because I don't know the exact dimensions, but pretty much he's got um, the road to his house, the driveway, and then he's got this path, and I know that somewhere there's like this little table he's got, right? And then we put cute little chairs there, and I think that he said that the path goes around or through and cuts. I don't know, but I'm going to change all that path. I am going to if he wants this. So what I think we need to do is have this area. I don't know how big it is. Like I said, we're going to cut down all the oaks and cut it out for the blackberries. And again, I don't know how big exactly this is. What I think we need to do is keep this a little 2 foot path, 2 or 3 foot path, all the way around. And then it goes into his little tail area, um, and then there. And then if he wants, he can keep the trees. I'm cutting them down, but they're going to be there. If he wants to keep the oaks, we're going to have to separate them. They're too messy, at least in the front. And then I think he has some trees he wants there, and then we can keep them as long as we sort them out, separate them a little, thin them out. That'll be good. And then same here, we'll kind of just thin them out. You can put whatever he wants there, and then have the path there, and then have fence there. I don't know how big this fence will be. And then behind the fence, he can keep everything that's overgrown. So we're going to leave that there. All this can be overgrown like he wants it to be. But inside, I want to put small little picket fences here. And maybe have little gates there, 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 here, and here. Um, that might be different is there, because then we can, all the blackberries are currently growing. We'll keep them growing in there. I want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. These are too close together. So if we could just do one, we might need to do one of each, but hypothetically, depending on how big it is, I want to have at least 2 of each. And then this is just an invisible divider. And we're going to put fruit trees there, like pears, peaches, apples, dwarf varieties. And then eventually have another row, either 1 or 2, depending on how big the space really is, from there. And they're going to stay dwarf varieties. And then everything, all this on the ground here, everything in between these trees will be the blackberries. And I'll have to double check to make sure that the blackberries and the apples and stuff like that can all grow together. Because the apples and stuff, because if we remove it, the blackberries seem to do well with a bit of the shade. So we want to make sure that they have the shade. So the first batches we'll do is going to be the ones in the middle. And then that way the trees here and here can shade out here and here, and those can go there. And then on the outside, we can either keep more blackberries and have them grow along the fence to have like a fenced blackberry hedge, or I was thinking we could do like some elderberries, because I think we could eat those, and those are there too. But whatever we put on there, probably blackberries, because why not? In fact, if we do, we can have, because the 3 varieties appear throughout the whole year. I think the first variety is a little smaller, and they appear between March to June, and the next one is June to July, and then the other ones are July to August slash maybe into September. So yeah, and that's kind of, I think it would be cute, because then like I said, we still have the trees here, and you'll still have it all covered in the safety of the trees, with maybe a little bit of sun coming through there, keeping it there. Now the only issue is if these trees get too big, I'm wondering if it would be enough light for these peaches and pears and apples. But the babies don't need too much sunlight, because they'll burn in our summer anyway. So if anything, maybe let's do 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then just try that out. And maybe we'll have to cut back a little bit once these middle ones get established. We'll have to cut these back just a little bit to allow more lighting in for these ones on the edges. But the whole point is to keep the blackberries shaded anyway, so that'll work out fine. And so with that, I'm going to shrink this down a little bit, because I need more space. Because I think this is actually on a bit of a slope, but I think the slope goes down like that way. Because I would like to, if this comes out in the clearing, because there's a bit of a clearing, if it comes out in the clearing, then we can put some, these totes are actually pretty big. Totes, probably 2 water collecting totes that we can just run and have it just go straight down the rows. And have that water it, just turn them on, and then just go right down, leave them on for like a couple minutes every day to kind of flood it out, to give the trees enough, and that way we don't have to worry about watering it. And this could be another gate we put here, and then if we get a lot of stuff, we can have like the lawnmower. Yeah, but obviously there's a lot more stuff in between here, but this is we'll figure it out when we visually see it. Like I said, this is just romanticized concept art that we'll kind of let him see what kind of visually what the vision is, and if he doesn't like it, and then there's nothing I can do about it. So with that being said, let's try to clean this up a little bit. Again, these are not exact dimensions, it is a concept. And then, yeah, I do think we need to clear those back ones up. Anyways, and then this is his path, his driveway. So, going to start just putting some color in this thing. Maybe if we do this, I could take a picture of what it looks like when we're done and then see how close I got to it. Okay, this is all really going to be dirt anyway. It's all mostly dirt because of the trees. There's not really any room for grass to grow. You probably go like this because all of it's, like I said, it's all just dirt. It does have a little bit of grass on these front areas. I think it comes out a little bit more, but it's barely grass, so I'm supposed to be making it look like what we could make it look like though, so we're going to add some more grass. I don't know, I think these oak trees won't allow too much grass because of the tannins and the acorns, but it doesn't mean that I can't still try to put a little bit of greenery in there. Start putting these. They're not all going to be the same color green either. Then of course these will be more green from the background here. This tree here. Invisible tree. Alright. And then we'll do a different color green for... Now blackberry vines, they're going to be very, obviously, viney. I was thinking we could just do that. We'll let them grow as wild as they want, but we are going to have to make some pathways in there so we can go through them. And I'm not going to constrict them, or sorry, restrict them as much as it looks like in this picture. If they want to grow out here, that's fine. I don't care. They can grow as wild as they want. But just to kind of keep a nice setting for them. And then, of course, the fence line. My mom had said something about doing blackberries along the lines, like I said, but elderberries could work, but I think blackberries might be better. Because then you can just go like this, and then this. All the vines growing up, and like I said, make a nice hedge. It's got thorns, so hopefully it'll keep too many animals out. And I was thinking, to keep it cute for the visual side of it, we just go make a nice cute little look like that, little picket fence. Doesn't have to be If it doesn't want it there, you can also grow some blackberries along the little fences too. Maybe just make like tiny trellises, but ultimately, and we can even go like this as well to have kind of like a, yeah. And that way it'll make it look really cute. And then that's just for extra color. Put in all the blackberries. Because, yay. It makes it look, actually we won't have too many on that one because they're going to be different kinds, but we'll just make it look visually nice. And then like that. Put some white in there for like the flowers. And then we're going to do red for apples. It's like the most juvenile. It's like when they just draws what they want to do when they grow up and they say, I want to be a landscaper, and this is what they provide. We'll do peaches. And then pears. Look at that. Isn't that so cute? Okay, erase some of these lines here. Now, if I could just do this again, but make it like really fancy, that would be nice. I want to also get this weird color here for this toad. Okay, we're going to not do that because that's not working. There we go. And then there's the other toad here. We could put like a little picket fence around them too, but I'm not really sure how that's going to set up because I don't know how. My thing was we'll have like a little trench dug out. Maybe we can go under the path and then straight into here, and then have the water just go down to the trenches through there, and then, oops, this one needs to be moved, but it's going to go between these trees too. And then maybe underneath the blackberries we'll have some trenches that the water can kind of seep through if it needs to. And then just run it until it soaks up enough, and then there. Of course, we do any watering after we've done, or yeah, after we've done picking anything as well. So, yeah. So I think that this could work if he will allow it to. And this is the first step of it because he's got about 5 or 6 acres, and this is just one part of it. And I figured we should, instead of doing everything that we have been doing, like going all over, just pick a part of it and then move on. Move either from front to back to front, or left to right. And so this is the pitch. And if he absolutely does not want me to do any of this, then I don't know how I can help him. Then there's nothing, absolutely nothing I can do that's going to help him with what he's going through. I am at my wit's end with dealing with mental health, and I'm not trying to be rude or hateful. I've been dealing with my own, and I am willing to help him, but I know from experience now that when you have mental health issues, the only way that you're really going to be able to get over them is when you're ready to, and you have to admit that to yourself, because I had to do the same thing. I had to admit it, and it was the hardest thing that I could do, and it sucks, but I mean that's how I had to do with it, and clearly I feel like that's the way he has to, because nothing that we've talked about, nothing we've said to him has ended in anything but I already know that, and just he says, kind of acts like a bully, and I know it's not him because that's not how he normally is, but But anyway, so wish me luck on this new adventure. Like I said, I'm not gonna really record any of the, unless you guys want to see the process, the real life process of me and my mom and everybody trying to get this done. I won't record like that. Like I said, unless that's something that you'll be interested in watching to see if we can transform it into this. However, I will um, do a comparison photo and see how that turns out, and then go from there. Like I said, I'm still going to be going through Rush, so this won't be happening anytime soon. But like I said, the second week of September is when I'll be back to the YouTube stuff, hopefully, and it'll be back when we officially start this. And the first thing we're going to do is start cleaning up. We can't start on this until we actually start cleaning up, because he's really let his property go. And so we'll have to do some cleanup first. But once the cleanup is done, we will start it. So yeah, if you guys see this video and you want to see the process of cleaning and building this, then you've got plenty of time to comment and let me know. Otherwise, it's just going to be a before and after picture. So I know that looks really dark, but he kind of wants to be enclosed in dark. I think that we can make this work. Of course, the sunlight's going. Let me do some sun rays in here to add more. There we go. There you go. Does it look like like a thing? Make it look more magical. Maybe convince him that we can do this. Okay, I don't think it's quite dark enough to have those pop, so we're gonna do another. Now we're just doing this for fun, okay? Now we're just being stupid. It kind of takes away from the green, but there you go. Yeah, boom! It's a light that sells it. Anyways, like I said, this is concept. I'm going to be doing this. If of course, if when I present to him the ideas and my thoughts and everything on how it's going to work, then if he says no, then I shake my hands of this, and there's nothing that we can do. I'm not trying to be dismissive of him or the property or anything like that, but I can't do something on somebody else's property if they don't want me to be out there doing it. So, I mean, that's ultimately going to be his choice. And let me color his table in. I don't know actually what color his table is. I think it's black, but I don't want anything that's too dark. I don't know what the hell kind of chair that is. Again, like I said, it's not exactly, I don't remember exactly how the area's layout is, but that's the gist. It's a concept art, and we're going to go with that. I'm going to give myself my official stamp. And then, yeah, like I said, if you watch all the way through and it looks like something that you'd want to see done in real life to see how close we can get to it, let me know. And otherwise, thanks for sticking around, and I will see you in the next video. I'll hopefully have some more sketches coming out, and I'll try to get some stuff buffered out for the fall. Sorry, for August, not fall. Fall's out before August. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.